people like said, how have you built multiple businesses with the same person and you haven't killed each other yet? That was the premise. And I realized as I started to do research that there wasn't a lot of tools for people. And I have a huge passion for entrepreneurship. I think it is the foundation of our financial system. I think it is this foundation of our nations. I think it's so important. Those dreamers are so valuable. And I figured this would be a way that I could really help entrepreneurs out by assisting in the partnership. And so I began on a journey just interviewing co-founders, and I wrote the book, The Co-Founder's Handbook. From that, I've realized again that there is even more that can be done to assist co-founders. So I started the Co-Founders Hub, which is a platform and resource for entrepreneurs to be able to build stronger partnerships. Really want to build into the next stage of entrepreneurs that are out there in the grind, and they've got this person beside them, and that person is either their greatest asset or their biggest liability in their business. And I want to make sure that it is the greatest asset. So many people focus when they start a business on how are they going to get to revenues? How are they going to build an incredible product? But what they don't realize is that 65% of businesses are going to fail because of issues between the founders. If people are not being intentional with that relationship, often they do kind of a set it and forget it experience where they just sign the partnership agreement. And that's the last time they ever put any thought into it. And unfortunately, what I see over and over again is issues and conflict arising, which is really, preventable in so many ways. And it's unfortunate. And this is why I wrote the book, is because it doesn't need to be that way. It doesn't take much, but it takes maturity to build that relationship. And I think that is my focus right now, is to really explain to people that it's not something that you can just jump into and let alone. You actually on a daily, weekly, monthly, annually basis have to sit down and go, how are we?
Oh my God, it sounds like a marriage.
It is. Oh, completely. The only difference is that
the sex. Just kidding.
Definitely not. Definitely no business partners with benefits. That's lesson number one. Absolutely. No, that I think that the only difference is that in a marriage, you're focused on each other's happiness. But if you can, in a partnership, you want to focus on the happiness of the business. And I think if you run everything through that filter, which is is this the best thing for the business, then any situation or issue that arises, there are actually ways to remedy them without the emotional. I always take the example of people who want a family member, their spouse or their kid to work in the business, and the other partner doesn't want that. By saying, I don't want your wife in the business, that's highly emotional charged comment. Yeah. So if you can say, oh, interesting, what's best for the business? Is she the right person for the role? Are we going to make the best decision? Is it going to affect culture for the business? These kind of things, it can kind of take that away. So while in many ways it parallels a marriage, in that particular way, it should and needs to have a different filter that everything's run through.
It sounds so logical.
It does. But when you're in the entrepreneurial journey, it's a roller coaster. You're constantly putting on full out fires. You're constantly, and this person, you can take them for granted very easily. But if you can make sure that you are to each other that cheerleader, that coach, that accountability partner, then that journey is so much easier and so much better. It seems easy, but just like in a marriage, it's very easy to take people for granted.
Well, it seems logical, but to your point, we're very emotional beings. So super helpful.